Hello, and welcome to the blogging pod. As Americans, it's hard not to ignore the unemployment rate. Even in my own state, it has climbed to 5%. And when we look closer, it's hard not to see the link between unemployment and companies struggling under rising tariffs. Those tariffs have not only forced companies to raise prices on consumers, they have also pushed them to cut costs in other ways, such as scaling back employees. The result is fewer jobs and higher prices, a double burden that shows up in our rent, our car payments, and especially our grocery carts. Take tomatoes as an example. In 2024, the cost of a pound of tomatoes averaged around $1.80. Today, that same pound costs closer to $2.50. That increase is not just about farming conditions. It reflects tariffs placed on imported produce. And when it comes to canned goods, soups, beans, tomatoes, the problem runs even deeper. The cans themselves are made from imported steel. With tariffs driving up the cost of that steel, the price of canned foods has risen before the food even leaves the factory. Companies either raise shelf prices or cut workers to manage the cost, and many end up doing both. This is why unemployment and tariffs are tied so closely together. Tariffs increase costs for companies. Companies respond by raising consumer prices and cutting jobs. Consumers then face higher grocery bills at the same time they worry about their own employment. It is a cycle that squeezes both sides of the economy. That brings us to the Federal Reserve. For months, Chair Jerome Powell resisted political pressure from this administration to lower interest rates. But what happened yesterday at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium marked a shift. Powell signaled that the Fed may have to cut rates, not because of the administration's demands, but because of the consequences of the administration's own tariff policies. Those tariffs are squeezing companies, raising consumer prices, and contributing to unemployment. Lowering interest rates in the Fed's lever to counterbalance that damage, making loans, mortgages, and credit payments easier to bear, and giving businesses some breathing room to hire again. The implication for everyday Americans is clear. Tariffs are not just a political talking point. They directly affect the food you buy, the security of your job, and the amount you pay on your bills. And when the Fed steps in with rate cuts, it's not a gift. It is damage control for policies that are already giving up cost and unemployment. It's damage control for policies that are already driving up cost and unemployment. Our sources for today's podcast come from Powell says weaker labor market may merit rate cuts, fueling stock rally, Washington Post. Powell says Feds may need to cut rates, will proceed carefully, Reuters. Fed Chair Jerome Powell signals interest rate cuts amid Trump attacks, The Guardian. Why tomatoes are more expensive, All Recipes. Trump tariffs could hike prices for canned items by up to 15%. Food Drive. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye for now.